Roysambu constituency by the Kenya Defence Forces. Mr. Speaker, first of all, let me start by appreciating the fact that this petition was tabled by yourself and it was brought to the attention of the House through your office. And also, Mr. Speaker, appreciating the fact that last week you exempted it from the normal procedures as per the standing orders and allowed it to be debated today. Mr. Speaker, in regard to this petition, we were able to invite several stakeholders, the petitioners, the AG, the CEO of National Land Commission, Chief Administration with the CAS, the PS Minister of Defense, CEO Chumi, Director Legal Services of KCB, and Director of Joel Complex. Mr. Speaker, there were so many areas that we established that the officers who are in charge have been faulting the procedures we are supposed to be followed to the latter. Mr. Speaker, on interrogating the petitioners, we invited the petitioners and they came in numbers. Mr. Speakers, they were elderly who were present and they gave us their stories. There were those hires of the ones who had passed on, who were the workers of Samuel's Jacob. And Mr. Speaker, as per what it has been raised by the chair, they had their prayers. And Mr. Speaker, on investigation or on interrogating the relevant departments who are in charge of this particular issue, we had a meeting with the CAS. Mr. Speaker, when the CAS came on that particular day, he presented 3 files. The files which are basically dealing with the same LR number, which is 5875. And that is the same land which is being claimed by the workers of Samuel Jacobs. Mr. Speaker, the 3 title deeds, the 3 files which were presented by the CAS, one of them was the original one, which was covering an acreage of 17.5, which was under the LR number 5875/2. The second one was the same land, but which had a different file number that was transferred to a company called Solio. And Mr. Speaker, what we noticed when we were interrogating the CAS is that the person who was in charge to transfer or to give an authority of transfer of this particular land on the second file that was brought to our table, Mr. Speaker, the authority or the person who was in charge denied and said that she did not sign on the authority for it to be transferred. Because looking at the transfer, the transfer was done, and the registration of that company where the transfer was done, the registration of company was 2 months after. So meaning the transfer was done, and then the registration of the company was effected after 2 months, meaning there was a fraudulent activity that took place in the ministry. Mr. Speaker, the third file indicated that there was an amalgamation of one number 23393 of the land that belonged to Grace Independent Baptist Mission Trustee, which was used by the ministry official to register as an amalgamation with the said parcel. Mr. Speaker, these are activities which are going on in the ministry. And there is a lot that we are supposed to talk about, but Mr. Speaker, due to time, let me go to the conclusion. Mr. Speaker, moving forward, I think due to the activities which are going on in the ministry, there is a lot that is being done which is not done in accordance to the law and in accordance to the process. Mr. Speaker, the KDF is a government agency. KDF is a government agency which falls under the arm of government, but with the consideration of what we heard from the petitioners, Mr. Speaker, I think it is prudent enough for each one of us to follow the law. Mr. Speaker, in our conclusion, I think Madam Chair had already gone through it, and it is the way it is. Mr. Speaker, I support